Hello and welcome to Monmouth in Focus, a program about the services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Cynthia Scott, your host for this segment of Monmouth in Focus. And today we are joined by Monmouth County Surrogate Rosemary Peters. Rosemary, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Oh, your office offers a variety of services. Let's talk about some of the most important things that you offer.
The unusual thing about the Surrogate's office is that although it's a department of county government, it's also part of the state court system. So everything we do is court-related. We handle estates, the probate of wills, appointment of executors, appointment of administrators if there is no will. We handle applications to Superior Court if someone wants to challenge something about an estate. Guardianships, adoptions, all court-related.
All court-related, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's a county office, but it's a state office as well, in a sense, because you work so closely together.
Yes, and we work closely with the courts.
And you are located in Freehold, but you have 4 satellite offices?
Yes, we do. Our main office is in the Hall of Records in Freehold. We're there Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30, but we also have 4 satellite offices. We're in the Middletown Library on Tuesdays from 9 to 4:30, the Wall Public Library on Wednesdays, 9 to 4:30. On the first, third, and fifth Thursday, we're at the County Connection in Neptune on Highway 66 from 11 to 7. And then on the second and fourth Thursdays, we're at the Ocean Township Library from 9 to 4:30. The County Connection is the latest one, and it offers the advantage of being open until 7 at night, so that people who work don't have to take time off to come to one of the other locations. They can come in after work.
They can go right there and fill out any paperwork that they need or ask any questions. Does the Surrogate's office also offer programs or lectures explaining, what the office really does? Because it can get confusing.
It's very confusing, and the average person has never dealt with this before, thankfully. And when they do have to deal with it, it's probably at the most difficult time of their life because they've lost someone.
Right.
Excuse me. So I do a lot of public speaking. I speak to a lot of groups, particularly seniors groups, because they're at a point in their life where they're interested in all of this. They're interested in what do they need to do, what kind of will do they need, and they're looking forward to that. So I have one basic speech called The Many Costs of Not Having a Will, where I point out difficulties that you can run into. I have another one called Probate Problems of the Rich and Famous, because I was keeping a clipping file about famous estates, Michael Jackson and people like him, who, in spite of all their money, seemed to run into problems, or their estate seemed to run into problems when they died because they didn't necessarily do things right, surprisingly. So I have a talk where I discuss the mistakes that famous people have made in their own estate planning. And I think people find it interesting and encouraging that they're not the only ones who maybe haven't gotten it all right yet.
So it's not necessarily that they have financial problems, it's just that they didn't take care of certain things with their estate while they were alive, and then if they pass, there's a lot of legal issues and ramifications that may come along with that, correct?
And it's too late to correct it, usually.
Right.
It's something that you need to do while you're still around and while you're healthy and able to make those kinds of decisions.
And your lectures that you give on wills, I would imagine that everyone should have a will, correct? I mean, of a certain age.
Everyone should have a will, and many people do have a will, but there's a problem with their will. They don't have the original of the will, and we can only probate the original of a will. In some cases, they've done a form will where they've filled in certain parts of it but didn't fill in other parts that are actually essential. They may not have enough witnesses. You need 2 witnesses, and it should be notarized by a third person, not one of the witnesses. Some people write on their will, and wills that have handwriting on them, I have to make a determination whether we can probate that will. If it changes the distribution of their estate, it has to go into Superior Court. So that means they have to hire lawyers, they have to go before a Superior Court judge, they have to determine who made those changes to the will and why. So it really requires a hearing and witnesses and that sort of thing. So I advise people, under no circumstances, write on your will. Make sure you know where the original is, and make sure that your executor knows where the original is. those are some of the important messages that I feel I need to get out there.
What are some of the most common questions that people who are putting together their wills ask?
They really just want to know how to do it right.
Okay.
You know, what are the mistakes that people make? And I've just gone over some of those
Okay.
mistakes. When I mention that we can only probate the original of a will, when I'm talking to a group, I usually see a few horrified expressions out there because people realize that what they have is a copy,
Right.
and they're not sure where the original is.
Okay.
So then they go on a hunt
Sure.
to try to find the original. Hopefully, maybe the attorney kept it.
Exactly.
And hopefully the attorney is still alive and in business and they can get it from him. Otherwise, a search begins.
Right. So always know where your original will is. Keep that in a safe place.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Rosemary, thanks so much for joining us today. Lots of great information out there coming from the Surrogate's office.
You're very welcome.
For more information about the Monmouth County Surrogate's office, you can go to www.visitmonmouth.com. I'm Cynthia Scott. Have a great day, everyone.